And welcome back aboard Blur Force One with your boy Mo and your girl Polly. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games, comic books. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into today's podcast, you know what to do. Get down there and hit like on this video. Superhero summer is in full effect, y'all. This is, we're in the middle of blockbuster season, so a lot of stuff is going on. Supergirl is in theaters. X-Men 97 and My Adventures with Superman are on TV. We got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming up in a few weeks, so it's a big deal. And I forget, there's one more thing that's coming out too, isn't there?
This summer.
I know we
Oof.
got lanterns at the end of the summer. So there's just a lot. There's a lot happening. Besides the fact that Man of Tomorrow is filming, they're still working on. I'm assuming they're working on Doomsday. So there's like a lot going on right now. A lot of speculation about the future of the MCU. Which we're going to talk about in our news today. But it's a time. If you're a fan of superhero stuff, it's a good time to be alive. So with all that said, of course, we got to say what's up to our resident Reed Richards truther, comics aficionado all around, cool blurred, and that of course is our good friend Polly. Polly, how you doing this week?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I have been reading comics, of course. I have been reading comics. And other than that, I didn't actually do much nerdy stuff. I've been working mostly and like doing some chores and stuff.
Darn that work.
But
people keep
yeah,
expecting us to like do things for a living so we can afford the stuff that's on our shelves.
to live.
How dare they?
Yeah. No, it's really annoying. And other than that, though, been like talking about Marvel Rivals, been playing some Marvel Rivals, really mad at them. Yeah.
We'll talk about that too.
Exactly. But yeah, I didn't do really much of anything. I did watch some stuff. I started rewatching, kind of rewatching Xena the Warrior Princess because, and I think I wrote about that on Threads because I remember that show from when I was a kid and it was on TV all the time, was like alongside Charmed and other shows like that. Pretty much around the time that I started watching X-Men Evolution, but like Xena was something that I always came across on TV, and I kind of like I could watch an occasional episode. Didn't really get too invested into this, but still. And now I decided to like give it a watch and see what's up. It's kind of fun. It's one of those cozy shows that just give you the feeling that like you came back from school and like you had homework, but instead you're just hanging out and watching TV.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, I did a little bit of a horror marathon. I watched Obsession. I watched Megan. I watched God, that was like another movie. Something
What was it about?
Horror mostly, like horror movies. I don't know, somebody like killed everyone, that sort of thing. And I just, I've never been a big fan of the horror genre, and I just started recently catching up on stuff like with It and Black Swan and other movies like that, like kind of horror thrillers. Watch that. Have I told you that I watched Michael?
You did. Yeah, I think you mentioned it on Threads.
Yeah, well, watch that too, and Devil Wears Prada too. I kind of watched a lot of movies, this week. It's been fun. It's been like
That's cool.
relaxing.
Shout out to Michael, by the way, which I think is probably going to cross $1 billion. This is one of those movies where they're like, no way in hell we're putting that on streaming anytime soon. Like, you got to take your ass to the theater.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it, and like the music in general, the portrayal.
It's
Awesome.
good. It's good. It's good stuff. It's not.
Yeah,
It's real. It's nostalgia bait, but in a good way. I think we
for
talked
sure.
about. I think we talked
Yeah.
about it before about what how
Devil Wears
nostalgia bait.
Prada 2, by the way. Like Devil Wears Prada 2 also turned out to be a pretty good movie. I didn't expect it, and it gets a little messy in the middle, but like it does have a message, it does have a solid story, it does have like a nice conclusion.
Mm. I may
I
catch it
enjoyed it.
if my daughter wants to watch it, because that's the
Mhm.
only way I watched the first one.
It is
Um,
it is way better than I expected it to be, honestly.
that's cool. You were mentioning Xena Warrior Princess. What a time that show is kind of representative of. That was a time when network TV and like basic cable TV, because Xena Warrior Princess was one of those shows that got syndicated. So it wasn't, it didn't
Mhm.
have a slot on prime time or anything like that. It was just a syndicated show. And in the 90s and early 2000s, that was kind of a thing where they would make syndicated shows and like different cable channels, because the cable channels weren't making their own products. So they were just picking up stuff to put time for time. And also they would syndicate it worldwide. So stuff like Highlander. I don't know if you ever watched Highlander, but
Yeah,
Highlander was a
yes.
big one. Walker Texas Ranger, uh, the
Yeah, those were all on
Hercules.
TV
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
90s,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But like I watched Xena in 2000s,
Hmm.
like in the early 2000s, because of course, yeah, they put out the shows later, and before that, I didn't have the
Yeah,
channels where they ran it. So yeah, I remember it from then, and still, it did feel like a new show. It did feel like a relevant show too.
it's
Kind of
a
cool.
the great thing of it, since it's a period piece, and also because it was a kind of a budget, like sword and sandals situation. Obviously, they were on location. There's a lot of extras. They're doing like, a lot of the stunts are being done but by the people. But it's a and it came after Hercules. I remember that because Hercules being big kind of made Xena a thing. And the one what I remember about it, one is Lucy Lawless is freaking amazing. Like
Oh yeah,
I forget the young lady, or I guess woman, that who played her sidekick. She was dope.
Gabriel.
She's so, but like
Yeah.
the actor, she's so good. Their dynamic is so good. I also remember this it you know my lesbians, let me know if this is true, but this is the gay awakening for
Look,
you,
it
Lucy
is.
Lawless.
I'm not like, you know what? I was a kid, like I was 12 or like 13 years, and even then, like I know I'm an educated person. I watched Sailor Moon, and there was no weird censorship for Sailor Moon in the
Uh
90s in Russia. So yeah, I knew what was up. And
huh.
I watched this show, and it was so weird. It was always so weird how they were trying to like they're like, this couple
Right.
who are in an open relationship, so they just hang around with different dudes, but then
They keep pretend.
it just
They keep
always
pretending.
gave this energy. Yeah, they keep pretend they like yesterday in the chat about X-Men 97, which we'll get to later.
Right. Right.
But like we were talking about comics in general, and somebody said that like Bobby was trying so hard to be straight. I think even I said that. 'Cause, like, and this too, yeah, they're trying hard. It's just never happening. So
They're like, yeah. It's interesting to me. Like I always like, even because I guess I was a teenager when this was running. I was like, okay, well, they're friends, but like, boy, they're really close friends. And like later on, thinking like, nah, this is like, this is definitely a thing, and it's fine. Like in Hercules, it was kind of the same with Hercules and Aeolus. Was like they had a similar dynamic, but
and
it's,
it's ancient Greece, so
I mean,
that's
look,
implied.
I'm down for the sapphic thing, and
Just two dudes traveling
yeah,
together. Mm-mm. No.
I'm down for it. I don't, it's a good show, and also Lucy Lawless is dope. It's like
Oh yeah.
she's just a dope person. So like,
She was
uh,
also on Battlestar Galactica, and I did not
yeah,
recognize her right away there. I was like, woman looks familiar, but then I was like,
I
I
love
kept
what
looking and looking, and oh my god, it's Cena.
I love when she shows up and gets to have a regular accent. So just
Oh,
have her Australian accent. It's always fun.
yeah, she's awesome.
Uh, I didn't do too much this week. Either my mainly I've continuing slowly on Bel Air season one with my daughter. It's that what a great show. I'm gonna keep saying this. That first
I'm,
season is
it's on
freaking
my list.
it's freaking amazing. It's a really if you like soapy stuff that's like relevant and woke, it's pretty great. Um, finished watching Avatar: The Last Airbender season two,
Same.
live action, amazing. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I loved it. My daughter, my daughter had kind of a conversation about it. She liked it too. She had some issues with some of the
Did she
acting or whatever, but
did she
mostly,
watch the animated show?
oh, she loves the animated show. I introduced it to her a couple like right after the first season of the live action one was done. We went and watched through it. She loved it. She's watched it without me since then. She loves season two, so this was like an important season. She was good with. I mean, she doesn't love. I said I loved it, no notes, and she was like, I have some notes, and that's fine. She's like a lot of people who have watched this show repeatedly, and then they're kind of like watching the new one, and they're like, well, that's not the same, and that's not the same. But my daughter, she's a lot more fair about it than some of these people who have been being silly as hell online about. Like I saw a nitpick about how Toph's bangs were show that they didn't care about. That they didn't care about the show, and I'm like, I didn't even bother replying because I was like, this may be the stupidest nitpick I've ever seen about an adaptation. Her bangs were too perfectly styled in the live action, therefore they don't care about because that shows they didn't care about the story. It's so fucking stupid. Either way, there was lots of opportunity for me to engage in people saying this trash and trying to argue with them, but I'm being a better person, and I ain't arguing with somebody about their fucking opinion. Now, if you say something that's factually wrong, I'll jump in and be like, "Hey, that literally didn't." Like they say they didn't do X, Y, Z, and I'm like, "They literally did. Here's where it happened." I'll talk about that because they're just misrepresenting. But if you just didn't like the shit and you want to give your reasons for it, good for you. I loved the season. I think that they did an excellent job. I thought everybody was on point with their performances. Some were excellent, like Miyako, who the young lady that plays Toph, she's perfect. Uh, I forget the guy's name, but that plays Zuko, excellent. Loved him. Um, but who else was the other one that really stood out? Azula, the young lady that plays Azula, great. Like, but everybody was bringing it. I love the show. Can't wait for season three. Um, and I would just counsel everyone if you haven't seen the cartoon, watch the live action first, or if you have seen the cartoon, fucking remember that it is not the cartoon. If you want to see the cartoon, you can go watch it. This is an adaptation. There is no adaptation in the history of adaptations that's going to do exactly well. I'm sorry, that's not true. Some adaptations, I've heard Moana's like this, and also How to Train Your Dragon is sort of like this too, are going to be a shot for shot recreation. And let me tell you, the shit is fucking boring. It had better be a good ass version in the first place. It had better be like a top tier, piece of media first before you get a shot for shot recreation. But if y'all are watching this and thinking they didn't do X, they didn't do Y, they didn't do Z, that therefore trash, you're doing it wrong. That's not the way adaptations work. So anyway, I'm not trying to argue y'all into liking it. I loved it, and I can't wait for season three. Also, since we're talking about Avatar, and you mentioned this before, before we got on the show, we are finally getting the Avatar movie that should be in theaters, but Skydance Paramount are fucking cowards, and also I think that they don't have any real. I don't think they have faith in theatrical animated movies, which is unfortunate because
Yeah, like Spider-Man doesn't exist.
yeah, well, And the thing is that the Avatar Aang movie, the grown up Avatar Aang movie, was meant to be theatrical, and then once Skydance took over, they're like, no, and so they're just sending it to streaming. Now, the funny thing is, this movie has been out for a hot minute on streaming because some guy in the Philippines or Singapore or whatever hacked the servers and downloaded the whole thing and put it online. So people have been able to watch this for a while. I have not watched it. Um, just because I wanted to watch it with my daughter, and she's like, "I'm not gonna watch the pirated. I'm waiting for it to come out." I'm like, "Cool." But it's cool that this is coming out.
Paramount, it's Paramount, so I don't feel bad for like having seen it.
Yeah, I am, and by the way, I'm definitely gonna pirate it because fuck Paramount. Uh, Straight up, I'll enjoy the fruits of your labor, but I will not give you any money for it. And I don't feel bad about it because they're run by, they're owned by fascists. So fuck them. But anyway, that'll be coming out in, I think they said July 25th, right? So we should be able to see that then. Will we talk about it? Maybe. We'll see. But I get the impression that you do want to watch this.
I have seen it.
Oh, you already watched it. Okay. Is it worth my time? I'm just
Are you
curious.
gonna pay for this? Honestly, I'm gonna say that like I don't think that it would have worked in a movie theater either. It is good. It's just
Hmm.
not something that's worth like there is nothing in that movie that would justify watching it on a big screen.
Right.
It is
Okay.
good. It is not that good. It's not Spider-Man like Spider-Verse movies. It doesn't bring anything particularly new in terms of animation or in terms of. It is a good story.
Right.
It's not a wow story. It would have been probably like I haven't seen Mandalorian yet, like Mandalorian and Grogu yet, but I feel like
It
the
should have been.
reaction would be the same. Like, yeah, it should have been a longer episode or something
Yeah.
like that. So
Okay.
I think that it's kind
Interesting.
of like that case, but it's a good story. It is fun. It does fill in some blanks. I really loved seeing those grown-up characters, like because I wanted to see them and I haven't read Avatar comics because I know that there is a lot,
Hmm.
and like when I start, I'll have to get deep into it. Eventually, I will, hopefully. But ever since I saw like grown Avatar Aang and like other character in the Legend of Korra, I wanted to see them grown up. I wanted
Right.
to know what it was like. So yeah.
I do like that the Aang's grown up self looks like my adventures with Superman with the just bald. I mean, I look at the two pictures and I swear
Well,
they're the same
he'd
character.
be safe in Metropolis, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, so I mean beyond that really was all my nerdy stuff. Oh, I guess I started trying to play some video games since I spent money on the Steam sale.
Which
Slowly getting into the original Baldur's Gate, which is from like the late 90s. I'm a D&D guy, so like I want to try to actually play a D&D game properly, and I didn't want to jump straight to Baldur's Gate 3 because I feel like when you play the later editions of a game, like later like iterations, going back and playing the older one is a little bit hard. Like it's a little bit hard on you because you're used to certain aspects of it. That's why I try to play like I don't want to play Assassin's Creed out of order because you'll notice mechanics that you think should be there aren't there anymore. And I've had that happen with some games before. So I'm trying to start from the OG and work my way up. But these are like really complicated games like D&D tends to be. So like it could be a while, and I don't spend a lot of time gaming. Um,
Yeah, I had the same mindset though when I started playing like Witcher and the other one, BioShock.
mhm.
So I tried to play older BioShock games and they were freaking hard and scary. So I went straight to BioShock Infinite and it was easier. I
Right,
got through that, yeah. And then I tried playing all the Witcher games and they were like unplayable because I'm not used to those mechanics and
right, right,
they're really hard. Like they really demand some skills that I don't possess.
right.
So yeah, I went
Do you,
straight to Witcher 3 and I never finished that because like a werewolf whooped my ass and I was too scared to come back and fight him. I'm still
Uh,
too scared. I'm
I
not
said
gonna do
I've
that.
had Witcher 1, 2, and 3 for so long, and I've never actually played more than like an hour of Witcher. So I, one of these days, like I keep promising myself I'm going to do that. I have hundreds of video games, and like one day I keep saying, but these games like Baldur's Gate, they have many like I think probably 60 hours worth of gameplay in them. So I got to really buckle down if I'm going to get into them. So. Either way, that's all of our nerdy activities. So, of course, you know what that means. It's time for Polly Has Issues, which is our weekly thing, or as weekly as Polly's reading comics. That is, where she talks about the comics she's been reading this week because she reads way more comics than I do, and she's got a lot of thoughts about them. So, Polly, what are you reading? What are you reading this week?
This
What are
week,
your issues?
yeah, my issues are actually with the most unnecessary story. I think like it was the most unnecessary event ever in general in the history of Marvel Comics because it didn't bring anything new to the fold. It didn't treat the characters well. A lot of people say that Civil War was out of character for so many characters, but especially like Reed defenders like to say that, but uh, as a person who read all Fantastic Four leading up to that moment, and then went straight to Civil War. Uh, Reed was not out of character. Most of the characters were not out of character. It's perfectly understandable for them to like pick their sides. But when it comes to Civil War 2, which I'm reading right now this was out of nowhere. This was out of nowhere in on so many levels. The story, first of all, it's not an original story, and it's like Brian Michael Bendis running out of ideas, which happens occasionally, and we all notice that because
Mm-hmm.
like he starts going in circles, and I know that he needs like some another team or like some fresh perspective when this happens to him because like any writer can't be perfect all the time, but this story doesn't treat Carol well in general. It's not the best representation of her in the comics, and even though I can understand how okay I can stretch my imagination and I can imagine how she would actually fall for that and like she would actually start that conflict, but if you remember the premise of Civil War 2 is that Inhumans have this newly born Inhuman when they like released Terrigen Mist, and a lot of people on Earth turned out to be Inhumans. They went into cocoons and came out like with superpowers. One of these people is Ulysses, and he gets the power to of precognition. He can see and experience future events. And Carol insists on using his visions to like prevent to basically persecute people and to prevent crimes by having the people arrested preemptively and detained mostly preemptively, and like this
Wow.
is such a ridiculous concept in a world where you have precogs, like a lot of them, like Destiny, like Lila, and like countless others. This is not the first time they did it. They've changed future and like the past and the future so many times. They have time travel for crying out loud, and dealing with this like approaching it like that, like it's a basic sci-fi concept, like in a world with nothing else. This is just random. It feels kind of cheap. Like it's doesn't it's not supported by any other storyline. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel like a story that belongs in this universe. It feels like it was written for something else, for different characters, for different universe, not for 616. And the most bizarre thing for me was the fact that mutants for some reason supported this, like mutants of all people, like you know that they are a flight risk, like they are specifically a risk when it comes to this because a lot of like new mutants with the superpowers they can control, they are destructive and mm, a lot of situations are caused by mutants too. So yeah, they are. I mean, that's not something they would support. Mostly because they should know better, because they would be eventually on the other end of this conflict and of this situation. And Tony Stark, for some reason, like he is against it, even though like he kind of does seem to be a person who would probably support it. Uh, but in general, his position mostly like revolves around the fact that he calculated all those visions, and they are not set in stone, so there is no guarantee that they will come to pass. And so I think that like even Reed, by doing some basic math, even Reed wouldn't be on that side. So uh what reason is there to have this conflict? I don't know. And that so far has been like what I've been thinking about. It has a lot of like this whole event has a lot of good side stories that they're decent, like they're focused on characters and they bring something new and something interesting, but the main event, the main storyline, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to feed it into the like my vision of the 616 timeline. It just doesn't fit. I think that like it's largely ignored. Uh, it's been ignored ever since. Like we're gonna pretend like it doesn't exist until it goes away, like so many
Nice.
other things. So there is that.
That's funny too. I'd never read this. I had never intended to read it. I remember hearing the announcement for it, and I was like, "Oh, we're doing a sequel to
Why?
Civil War? Like, why the?" Because, all right, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be keep it 100 with this, which is, um, that the original Civil War, I think, it was so pivotal. Like, and it came out at when one event after the other was really like making shit happen. Like, we still feel repercussions of Civil War to this day. Uh, not all of them were permanent, but like the Stanford incident is such a huge part of like what happens, going forward from there. And trying to do a sequel to it, I was like, why would they do it again? Like, like I had to really ask myself, because if they were going to do this again, it had better be a super fucking important thing that's happening. Like the like the superhero registration act was a gigantic thing. Because this is I liken it to this way. It's registrations acts are fine until it happens to white people. Then they're like, hold on a second, this is tyranny, right? And they were perfect.
That is exactly like Mutant Registration
Yeah,
Act versus
exactly.
Superhero Registration Act.
I was like, oh, okay. This, because that's when I realized, because like the Mutant Registration Act was a thing that some of the heroes were fine with. And so of course, once the superhero thing rolled around, they were gonna get behind it because reasons. But I was like, well, what's gonna happen with the second one? And I could not imagine a scenario where something important enough happens that it's worth being called Civil War 2, because it's on that level. And it sounds to me like it wasn't. Whatever this was just like, hey, all that stuff we've warned about before, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it anyway. And you're right.
It was a different issue. Like they didn't even stay on topic with the Superhuman Registration Act, and it wasn't a civil war. It was like a civil disagreement.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing is Civil War was like, in order to make it, like, I understand. Okay, let me get my thoughts together so I can finish the sentence. All right, so in order for Civil War 2 to be a justified and real, real sequel to the first Civil War, its original, premise has to be as strong. It also has to have wide-ranging effects, and it has to cause real interpersonal conflict. And I'm sorry, but there's no way, I cannot imagine a scenario that has Spider-Man unmask himself, right? That has Cap and Iron Man punching each other in on a fucking street. and has it has Goliath fucking died. Like, remember like people died and everything, gave reason to bring a clone to Thor back. There's no way. There's so many fucked up things happen in the first Civil War.
And most of it is Reed's fault, by the way.
it
A
there
lot of it is Reed's fault.
I mean, true. I mean, he did help clone Thor, which was stupid.
And he
Uh,
also built a prison
yeah,
in the negative zone.
there's the negatives on prison among many other things. So
Yeah.
to me, whatever this conflict is, it's got to be so monumental. And like, and you're already having sequel, like this could probably didn't need to be called Civil War 2, right? It probably should have been called something else, because now I have an expectation, and it's not going to rise to that level, because Civil War shouldn't have been an event that needed to be followed. This is literally a situation where you're like, you know what, that can never happen again. Like Cap, because Cap and Iron Man they're cool again now, right? 2 decades later. But it should have been a situation where Cap and Iron Man and all the other heroes were like, nope, we're never doing that shit again. Because the repercussions of it led directly to Dark Reign, right? And destabilize situations for a secret invasion. So in retrospect, they're like, that was stupid of us. We shouldn't have done that again. But they're like, now we're gonna Civil War again. And I'm like, okay, sure. Like whoever who was the who the editor, not editor, editor in chief was at the time? Was that CB? Was that CB Cebulski? Was he
I
the
think so. Yeah, I think so.
this motherfucker right here. I used to really like him as a writer, but like that if that ain't a cash grab editorial decision, I ain't fucking seen one. So anyway, I'm sorry you don't like it.
You don't like it either.
I don't like it by osmosis, I guess.
You're not wrong.
That being said, I guess we should get into we're gonna have a few news items, and then we're gonna review our two episodes this week for My Adventure with Superman and X-Men 97. Not a lot of news. I don't know what's going on with the news cycle. Maybe it's good. We don't really spend a ton of time speculating, because we're in superhero summer. We should be enjoying superhero stuff. But we are going to talk about what seems to be a confirmation of a writer or a confirmation of the Nova series in general that we've heard about, and a confirmation of a writer. Yahya Abdul-Mateen, he's doubling back on the Emmys, apparently, for a good reason, I think. Our third news and final news item, Marvel Rivals season 9, it's incoming. It's been announced and all the details about it, and Polly's mad about it. So we'll see why. And then we'll do those two reviews. So Polly, you ready?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into this. Michael Waldron is apparently attached to write. I'm not right, maybe not all of it, but write on the MCU Nova show. Now, Nova, of course, being old Buckethead himself, Marvel's version of the Green Lantern Corps. In some ways, a bit cooler than Green Lanterns. Fight me on that. And it's it's a character that's been around since the 70s. There's a couple other I forget what the other kid's name is, but the Latino kid who's also Nova. And
Sam Alexander.
Man, I'm thinking of somebody else. So yeah, Sam Alexander, he's not Latino. Whatever. That's how you can tell I didn't read any of that shit. my Nova is Richard Rider. But they've been developing this as a TV show. I think it was originally supposed to be a movie. They're developing it as a TV show. Haven't heard much about it though.
They are which character are they picking? Like, are they picking Sam, or are they picking? Oh, we don't know yet.
Man, when I tell you we don't know shit about this damn show, I mean it. We don't know shit about this show, except that they're working on it. They're allegedly working on it. That's all. Allegedly. But apparently, according to I forget who was this, Cosmic Book News, and I know we shouldn't listen to them. I know, but they can copy and paste from a website like anybody else. And apparently that's what happened because they were looking at, I think like the Directors Guild or Writers Guild, that they'll post about what jobs are being done and who's attached to them or whatever uh, as part of their guild. So Michael Waldron has been attached as a writer on the show, which, look, by the way, this doesn't mean the show's going to happen. I just want everyone to keep this in mind. At any given time, any studio that's developing anything is working on, and they'll attach a writer to something that may never get made. Because if we're being honest, the writer is the cheapest, person. The writer is the cheapest person in the development process because they just got to come up with a story and write a script. So a writer being attached to this doesn't mean we're gonna get the Nova TV show, but it does mean that they are working on it if they have it officially on the WGA website. Now, why is this? Why should we talk about this? Well, Michael Waldron was the writer on Kang Dynasty, and was the writer on and I think was also
Loki.
going to be co-write. He was going to be co-writing also, I think, the Avengers Secret Wars, and was apparently he the creator showrunner of Loki.
And he
But
was on the writer team on Multiverse of Madness too.
but the one that he's really attached to, that everyone, anybody, all the chuds that are going to be like, the MCU is failing and whatever. He was attached to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's his, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania could be the reason why he's not writing Doomsday or what was previously Kang Dynasty, because as a writer of Quantumania, he was setting up Kang Dynasty. So if you are concerned about Nova, I do not blame you. Like, if you hear Michael Waldron, first of all, if you know who Michael Waldron is, you're a big old nerd, and you're just like us. But if I say Quantumania and you're just like, oh no, right? I don't blame you
Wait a
because
second. Wait a second. Let me argue with you for a while.
Well, wait a minute. Before I wanted to qualify what I was saying before I get into it. I liked Quantumania, but I am in the minority, and I know it. I've watched it a couple times. I think it's a good movie, and I pretty much liked everything about the movie. But that said, most people didn't. So if you hear Michael Waldron and you hear Nova and you say, "Oh no," I'm not gonna blame you because you didn't like the shit he did before. However, he did do Loki, which is great. So let's be even handed. So you said you wanted to argue with me. Let's go.
Of course. First of all, yeah, Loki, you brought it up yourself. It's obvious that he was attached to every project that involved Kang.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Multiverse of Madness, it set up the world between worlds. Between all that's not what it's called, but like this Multiverse of Madness is a great movie, okay? And he was also writing that. But like one of the writers at least. And other than that, he was attached to every project that involved Kang, which is like it's kind of a futuristic thing, but like with time travel and different looking places, I'd say. And this is the kind of thing you want for a superhero who mainly spends time in space. Like whether we're talking Nova, Richard Rider, or Sam Alexander, it's still like Sam Alexander is more of a earthbound hero because like he's part of the champions, which kind of makes sense for to introduce him if they ever gonna do something with that team and with like or Young Avengers. But in general, like it does look like something he'd be good for, in my opinion. And it would be weird to me for me if people were started getting worried because of Quantum Mania, because like it is it is not a bad movie. I'm still wondering like why people hate it, and maybe they like didn't like what it was setting up. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Kang in general, and I didn't want to like that story that they were setting up. I can't say that I was very disappointed when I found out that we're not gonna have Kang Dynasty. Uh, but like this whole sci-fi vibe, this is exactly what you need for that show. So I'm
Right.
fine with it.
Yeah. I mean, I remain open minded. Again, I haven't disliked anything he's done, so it's
Yeah,
not.
except for Vision.
Uh, Vision. Are you talking about Vision? Wait a minute. What did he do with
Vision
Vision?
Quest.
Is he on Vision Quest? No,
No.
no.
I
That's
mean,
not.
you just said that you're open minded, you're
I said
remaining open
I
minded.
no. I'm open.
Except for Vision
I'm
Quest.
sorry. Let me qualify that. I'm open minded about his involvement in the Nova show. Uh, Vision Quest. We at some point in because it's coming out in the fall, like close to the Doomsday. Um, we are going to have a whole little discussion about again. I can reiterate why I'm really concerned about that
Nerd.
show. But for this one, no, I Loki season 1 and 2 great. Um, again, Quantumanium I thought was good. Um, so I see no reason to be concerned about this. I just want the and also this is a fucking straightforward ass show. The Loki is a look. Loki's a very twisty, turny sort of deal. Yeah, its character journeys are pretty straightforward, I think, but the actual way to get to the end is very twisty and turny, and it's looping back on itself and everything like that. Kang Dynasty didn't happen. I hate that. Uh, well, not multiverse. What did he do? He did some stuff on Multiverse of
He did.
Madness.
He did. Yeah.
And that's another twisty turny sort of deal, and so was Quantum Mania. So I liked what he did. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on him. I
He
just
also wrote an episode
yeah,
of Rick and Morty.
which yeah, apparently he's so he's got some of that stuff. I just want him to do right by Richard Rider and also let it be Richard Rider. God dang it. That's all. And
I think it's gonna be, like now that I said it, I think it makes more sense for it to be Sam because simply because they can include him in the
the
new
champions, yeah.
Young Avengers or the Champions, yeah, whatever they're gonna go with.
Yeah. And the other thing is that because I was thinking like, man, was Quantumania such a bust that they're literally just kicking him out the studio, like Marvel Studios in general? Maybe not. Maybe he's got a second chance at it, and he should. I think he deserves another chance to, get back in there because like he's had other hits. So like let's just give him another chance. We'll see what's up. I'm not too invested in it. If they go with somebody else, that's fine too. I don't care. Just give me Nova. That's all. That's all I care about. But we'll see. We'll see if this is actually a real thing. We'll talk about it if and when they confirm the Nova show. Um, next thing, let's give a round of applause or whatever. Hats off. What all that stuff for a deserved Emmy nomination for Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who, of course, was in Wonder Man earlier this year. I want to say people might want to say it's a surprise hit. It definitely was a great show. Like I watched it twice when it came out. It holds up on second viewing. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is just he's brilliant. And his all of his scene partners are definitely there, especially Sir Ben Kingsley. It's just a good show, and I love that it's getting recognized at the Emmys. He's nominated as lead in a comedy show, and he's up against some stiff competition. I'm not expecting him to win this. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not expecting him to win this, just because of how like I think Jason Segel from Shrinking, people love Shrinking, especially I think Shrinking's won Emmys before. So I don't expect him to actually take the take it home, but I love that he's even like in the conversation really, and that they're recognizing a superhero thing for it. Also, he's a previous Emmy winner. He won Best Supporting Role I think a limited drama series for Watchmen, where he played a Doctor Manhattan that decided he wanted to see what it was like to be black, which was cool. So very well deserved. I'm glad to hear that. Were you surprised to see that he got nominated?
Not really, because this show was very critically acclaimed. The critics in particular liked it and enjoyed it. So yeah, it was kind of expected. And I'm not even gonna think like I think that it's more likely than you think it is that he can win because, like you said before, Hollywood loves to talk about itself, and this is
Yeah.
kind of a chance to like. Uh, Repeat that message, and the show's getting another season as far as we know. So so good. I think that it's actually like there's actually a lot of stuff like lining up in favor of this outcome. I don't know, like I haven't seen the other show you mentioned. I don't know who else is nominated, but I do think that he has a strong chance of winning, and if that happens, I wouldn't mind it. I would actually be really happy for him.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let me
I don't
actually.
think it's unlikely at all.
Yeah, let me double check because Matthew Reeves I know is one of the people for that, and I forget because I haven't seen these other shows. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I haven't seen these other shows. Let me see it. I'm trying to load up the so I can look at it. Steve Carell is one of the people. Jason Segel, I said. Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, which, by the way, is a show I love. But Matthew Reeves for Widow's Bay. So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good lineup. He's in good company there. I hope he wins. I really do. But I haven't seen other things, so I cannot say whether or not it was deserved. So that being said, uh, we should we'll keep an eye on this. Hopefully, we'll see an Emmy win for our for one of our favorite shows of the year. Like I honestly, if not for X-Men 97, it might be the best superhero show of the year. But X-Men 97 is going to kill it. Anyway, so moving on to it's time for our talk about Marvel Rivals. I feel like didn't we do this last month? I feel like we talked about this last month.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Season 9. Remember we were talking about the rumors of who's going to come out. I think they had been confirmed or whatever about who the new characters were for season 9 of the show of the game. I don't play this game, so I'm not. Look, I'm gonna say it. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm aware of it because I'm a nerd and it's a superhero related and it's Marvel related. But generally speaking, I don't care about Marvel Rivals. So all I will say is, it is interesting that who they've decided to bring in. I really wonder why they decide, some characters over there. I know they're like, well, the Hood is interesting. I'll give them that, but isn't he basically just Cloak? I'm
That's the thing.
just
I don't know
with
what
with
his
with
power
with
set is
guns.
yet.
And Jubilee, I get Jubilee. It makes sense to me because she's a fan favorite character. I get that. But the question has been raised by you and by other people is why is there so many Asian characters? Why there's so many white characters, but no representation for but barely any representation for black people. And if you're Native American, fuck, you're no one loves you at all. I,
It's Native American. It's like
er,
Latina.
yeah.
It's black. Like everyone who is darker than a specific shade, they don't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been a problem with Marvel Rivals since the beginning, and they have like this microaggressions that people keep mentioning, and then like this season is dedicated to Apocalypse, so they're giving like Egyptian themed costumes to some characters. Guess which characters get the costumes? Ella, Mantis, Rocket. But like Storm, who grew up in Cairo, she doesn't get like anything. And you know what's funny to me is whenever I bring that up, there's always a bunch of people who show up to argue. Some of them claim that like they don't market to black people because black people don't play as much as like others and don't spend money. Well, that's not true. I'm sure of it. And also, like it's some of these people are at least pretending to be black. I don't know if they really are, because I can't prove it or disprove it. But like if you really are black and your attitude towards this is like they don't market to me because I'm the minority, so therefore I like don't exist to them and I'm fine with that, then I have like bad news for you, and also I'm really sad for you because
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I've been spending my money on this game from season one. I was gonna spend money on some merch additionally, but I guess I'm not gonna do that because
Right.
like I'm not buying the battle pass for the next season because obviously, yeah, you don't want to cater to me. Okay, I don't care then. I don't know if I'm even gonna play this game. At least I'm definitely gonna cut back on the time I play. I'm not gonna be posting about it, anything, unless it's like negative specifically. But because like they really got made me mad. It's really annoying, the mistreatment of black characters, the unwillingness of the developers to add any black or dark skinned characters because there is a huge roster. There is a huge roster, and they specifically favor light skinned characters. Like when I say light, I mean white and Asian. Yeah. Mm, but it and again, a lot of people come at me trying to argue that these characters are not popular. Well, let me tell you something. Is Luna Snow freaking popular? No. She was not popular. She was not a comic book character. She was like pushed and dragged and promoted. They promoted the hell out of her, and she's still not an interesting character. She's a strong character in the game. People like dress up as her because on at conventions because she gets a lot of really cool skins, but she's not a great character. Nobody finds her interesting. Nobody actually listens to her music either. And like she's a mascot in the game of the game. They trying to push her, but still, like you have great characters, and you are unwilling to put any effort into them. You don't want to make them interesting, and then you claim that people don't play them. Well, you know what? That's not how marketing works. That's just how racism works, is what it is. And arguing about that is, in my opinion, very ridiculous because, like, some people, they really going out of their way to defend those decisions. And this is bizarre to me because if you're a black person, if you're a person of color in general, I don't know why you're doing this. Why are you trying to justify that? It's like shooting yourself in the foot, and it's like it comes off stupid. Uh, and you know, like bootlicker energy. And if you're a white person defending them and like trying to pretend that no, that's not happening, you're making it up, then you're just stupid. And honestly, I don't care for what you want to say. Uh, doesn't like your input doesn't matter to me. Uh, so yeah, there is that. I think that's all I wanted to say. But it's bizarre to me that this season like is centered around Egypt, and yet again, the characters that are actually from the same continent uh, that Egypt is on, or the characters who lived in Egypt, or even Moonfucking Knight didn't get anything, but like he has a lot of skins. But like this, these little things, they pile up and they pile up, and if they think that we don't notice, they're wrong. So yeah, I'm not gonna buy the battle pass this season. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be playing the game like much longer. I do also urge all the people who don't want to be treated like that to stop playing, to like, stop giving them your money. At least like use the free stuff, because yeah, the game is free, but don't spend your money on something that does not respect you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, again, I have no dog in this fight. It's interesting, and I don't even want to say concerning. This is just gaming in general. This is not new, and you see the gaming industry do this anyway. It's just kind of a reflection of the fact that most of the most of the people who are gamers are dudes. Like, it's not all. I'm not saying it's like 80% to 20%, but it's mostly are guys, and a lot of them are white or Asian, right? It's just
I
true.
mean, there is no statistic that proves that.
Well, yeah,
And
let's just, how about say, okay, I'm going to again qualify this by saying, anecdotally speaking, in this particular
that's that.
in this particular genre, it seems to me, at the very least, the most vocal people are white guys in America that are in this space. Like, if you talk about video gaming at all and online, you're gonna have a bunch of white dudes show up
I mean,
in
if
your
you talk,
comments.
that's true that they're vocal, but there are groups like specifically for women who play
Hmm.
this game, and these are large groups, and I'm sure there are groups for people of color who play this game, also large groups. So I don't necessarily agree that this, like, there is maybe a bunch of people who jump from game to game,
Hmm.
and they create this image or something, and there's also a lot of people who just talk a lot, and they
Right.
don't necessarily even play the game. But a lot of women in general, they don't speak, like, you wouldn't know if they women or not.
Right.
People of
For a
color,
reason.
again, you wouldn't know what they look like, because like we don't talk about that to
Yeah.
strangers in an online game. And also many of us, we don't use voice chat,
Right.
because obviously there's like incel nerds, they start acting weird whenever they know that there is a woman present.
Right.
So yeah, you wouldn't know. And like the statistics that developers are getting, they don't necessarily know either, because like you
Right.
can play from somebody else's account, but like these are things that maybe like they do collect the statistics, but I don't think that this is the core decision that comes into, and like in marketing, this is not the core decision that comes into the choice in this case, like, because uh Luna Snow, again, she was not the character you would uh pick necessarily to be the most popular, the most favorite character in among the characters that have decades of history. There are characters like the most popular comic book characters, and they don't get that treatment.
Right.
So see, that's not always dictated by what they believe would sell best. It's a choice. Also, Storm is popular among everyone.
Right.
Like even weird racist fans, they always bring up like Storm is a cool character, but like who else? Because like they don't know anyone else, but still everybody knows Storm, and everybody can agree that she is a cool ass character. Like, if you, I've never met a person who would argue with that. So pretending like she is not a popular character, or like actively trying to make her the least popular character, that is also a choice. And it's a choice that these developers are making, and I don't see any other reason for why would they make this choice.
I mean, I kind of look at it as, some of the things you mentioned about the fact that, well, people of color and women don't want to advertise the fact that they are those things because white dudes in these spaces are weirdos. and they act aggressively terrible when they know it, kind of makes it seem like there's more they're a bigger part of the community than they actually are. The other thing is the developers themselves are more than likely, you know, of that persuasion also. And there's just the conventional wisdom, whether or not it's true, that goes throughout the industry. That, like I was trying to, the point I was sort of going to make was, when the industry in general, it doesn't matter what kind of uh, video game it is, except possibly the sports games, when they make a decision, even there's a baked in sort of prejudice, I guess you can say, about who the audience is and how to appeal to them. And unfortunately, because gaming and video gaming early on through the first 20, 30 odd years of it were largely dominated by white dudes and like Asian guys. And so like there's a built-in, I think, cultural prejudice that, hey, those guys aren't going to identify with a woman or a person of color, or they're going to be mad or what, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like it becomes the casually racist thing to just, obviously we're going to disregard all these characters in favor of, other characters, white characters or Asian women or something, you know what I'm saying? Long hair, pale skin, that sort of thing. And so then it just becomes a part of the way things are going. I don't think anyone's consciously saying fuck black people at NetEase. I don't think that that's true. There may be some, but I doubt that they're in a meeting like, you know what, this game's too black. We need 3 black people is enough. That's in fact too much. It's going to scare white people away. I don't think they're saying that, but a baked-in cultural prejudice will show itself in the way things go. We see that in the movie industry and TV all the time, right? No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure there are some racist ass showrunners, but mostly they'll be like, I'm not racist. My best friend's black, and then they'll do some bullshit. So that being said, I'm going to continue my boycott of this game. And until they get more black people on the roster, until they stop playing around and get more black. And I encourage everyone to join me in this boycott of this game. I'm taking a principled stand that I've been taking since season 1.
Season 0.
Since season 0. But we'll keep an eye on this, and we're going to talk about it because Polly, Polly likes this game. And
well,
but it's just
like this game.
Yeah, but just like
I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna take our talents to other games. I don't know what that game is, but another game. But we'll talk about Rivals when we get more news. So it's time for us to review My Adventures with Superman, season 3, episode 4, which I suppose could be called My Adventures with Superboy. I guess.
Or are people of Metropolis stupid?
Yes, colon.
Part 2.
Metropolis. How do you say it? Metropolitan? Whatever. The people of Metropolis.
Metropolitan.
Yeah, kind of stupid. I also should have a second subheading is what is Lex Luthor doing with his time? I'm curious. Like, anyway, we'll get to that. This episode is all about, at the end of that last episode, John Kent sent to the past to prevent a terrible future from coming together, and it's so important, and that he's the last person that can do this. He's got to go and prevent a terrible thing happening in the past. And so, of course, what's he do as soon as he gets there? He has a fun day with his mom and dad. He's like, I need to go to the mall, eat everything, and skate around on my little my skates. in the meantime, Lois is like, "What the hell? When it's like I don't want kids. I don't think I want kids and to live on a farm." Clark is just like, "This is great. Let's
Yay!
yeah, let's have a fun time." And Jimmy continued to be silly. Also, in the B storyline, that's the A storyline, and at some point, while Lois is grappling with her, with her existential crisis of having her future mapped out for her, without her input, and them fighting some dinosaur people. Uh, they eventually, they figure out, I guess some of their interpersonal things. Um, and Jimmy's, like I said, being an idiot, going on dates with people that
And
are changed.
Kara is there.
And Kara is there, definitely. The B story, Hank Henshaw didn't feel so good about getting like kind of like buzzed to death, like he got tased last time to be put in his place. And he's like, you know what? I ain't with that. I got all the power and I'm about to fucking use it because, I'm a terrible person. Just I'm a walking, talking example of why some people should never get power. So, all the way around, look, let's not bury the lead. This is a great episode. After last week's episode, which was highly disappointing, this was a much, much needed improvement. And in fact, I think it's my favorite episode of the season. I think so. It's fun, it's funny. It's got some tropes, obvious anime tropes and cartoon tropes. I don't mind them. John Kent
At
is.
least it doesn't have a song.
It didn't have a song. It could have had a rap, knowing the way things are going. I think John Kent he's precocious, he's fun, he's a chip off the old block, as they say. Very much a product of his maybe not his parents, but definitely a product of like the people who knew his parents and raised him right. And the way they paralleled him and Lois was fun. Watching Lois have her little, you know, it's as an extension of her existential crisis she's been having with regards to her relationship with Clark and what their future is going to be, and her kind of fear of not even getting older, fear of the future because she's so comfortable where they are at the moment. And that like really centering that and centering her relationship with John, and then of course Hank Henshaw just being the worst, and in a fun way, like kind of like showing that, as I like to say, just because you're smart doesn't mean you can't do stupid things. With Lex, and watching that all play itself out in the way that makes the most sense. In fact, I would even say it's a bit like watching Homelander realizing, wait a minute, I don't fucking have to listen to you. What? Remember when Homelander was like, wait a minute, I could literally do whatever I want, and that's what it kind of feels like. I had a lot of fun with this episode. Really enjoyed it. What say you?
Well, first of all, the same, except I really liked the parts of like would Lois's existential crisis, in my opinion, wouldn't have hit as hard if we haven't had the previous episodes that you didn't like, where she was already freaking out about that.
Right.
And like I really, in a way, kind of really could relate to her because she was like, oh, it's not like her life is perfect, but like she is trying to get it to where it would be perfect, and we obviously know that she's dreaming big, and for some reason she still believes that journalism would exist and matter when she grows up a little bit. Uh, but then she's hit with the fact that like this farm she keeps seeing, like this mini farm Clark keeps showing her, it might be a very real thing, and she has like living proof of that.
Right.
For some reason, does she ignore the his command that this is how he imagined her. I mean, he bullshitted his way out of this, but like I think that she should have taken it more serious because, mm, yeah, because obviously we know we find out at the end of the episode that this is where she and Clark die. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But yeah, time travel. Maybe they would have wanted to like some lessons from Carol in Civil War 2, but you know. Uh Other than that, like I yeah, it's obviously setting up like the bigger plot, like the main plot of the season, I'm guessing. And what I really uh enjoyed is more of this character moments. Like I said, this is the thing that I love most in the show. And what else happened there? I don't remember
I mean,
because like
they had a
Carol was there, like I
yeah.
said. Yeah, they had a really weird outing in that mall, and for some reason, like you kept saying that people of Metropolis are stupid, and yeah, that's true. That they keep hanging out with like first with Kara, and then there is another Kryptonian, and he immediately hangs out with these people, and Superman is nowhere to be seen, but there is like Clark Kent who looks the same. This is just bizarre to me, but like I can suspend my disbelief at like but there are limits.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like stretching these limits to the impossible size. I don't know. At least like Kara could have had a secret identity too. Would have been a great idea, but still would have been obvious, but maybe less obvious. But at this point, yeah, I just think that they don't need a secret identity anymore because, like, mm, you
it
know,
it
what's
does,
the point?
yeah, it does stretch the imagination to be like, Clark and Lois are constantly hanging out with two Kryptonians. And again, I'm look, I'm sorry, glasses aren't enough. He looks exactly the same, just like what. So you never see Superman and Clark at the same time. And Clark is either Superman is hanging out with a Kryptonian with Supergirl, or Clark is hanging out with Supergirl. And
Never two,
yeah, never
never
the
both
two.
of them.
And I also, again, I asked, is is Lex Luthor stupid? And not because of the Hank Henshaw stuff. I thought you were hell bent on fucking up Superman. Like that's your thing. You spend all this time typing on the computer. I'm convinced you're playing not Minecraft Minesweeper, because there's no fucking way you're bending your mind to destroying Superman, because if you did, it would take 2 seconds of a drone watching Superman to be like, wait a minute, Clark Kent is Superman. I'm the smartest man on earth, but I can't figure this easiest fucking thing in the world out. Because in other Superman media, there ain't none of this where there's easy to trace, connections back to Clark Kent, right? But
I mean,
they,
in Smallville, it takes years
yeah, literal
for
years.
For Lex to figure it out, and like Clark keeps gaslighting him.
And what's funny, like in every other iteration of it, no one finds out Superman's secret identity, because he's not dumb enough to sit up there and, like, in his real life, just go eat lunch with Kryptonians. And Kara also has a secret identity. Like, there's at no point did they tell John, like, chill out, like, put this disguise, put on regular clothes. Why are you running around with the S on your chest? Like, you just hanging out, okay? So that's look, it's funny, it's very silly, but I notice it. It's very silly. Also, Lex being silly. We got to talk about Hank Henshaw. He is, if there was ever a poster child for never give a damaged person power, because they're just gonna use it, they're gonna abuse it. Hank Henshaw, remember, he was an army officer, like he was a captain in the army, decorated, all that other stuff. And all it took was he had this terrible accident, gets rebuilt and turned into basically a computerized version of Superman. And now he fucking acts like, he's a psychopath. So I have two questions. One, was he always a psychopath? Like, when he was in the army, was he a psychopath? And two, uh, Lex, are you stupid? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Is there no way you could have, like, I don't know, done any kind of, like, what do you call it, mental health evaluation before you do all this stuff? Before you hand literal Superman powers over to a dude? And I guess the number three thing is, if you have the power to make a cyborg Superman, why wouldn't you just make yourself cyborg Superman?
Too risky.
You got all. He has literal power. Like Lex has shown, he has the technological ability to replicate Superman's powers, and he wouldn't do it to himself. I don't. What's the reasoning here? It's some of this. I feels like, and I know it sounds like I'm being overly critical of the episode. Again, I really liked it. I thought it was great, but like some of this stuff, I'm just like, this is cartoon logic because ain't no way in real. Amanda Waller would be like, I need like 17 of these super people. You can make Hank Henshaw make like 17 of my guys Supermans too. That's it. Also, while I'm thinking about it, Amanda Waller would never have let Hank Henshaw do shit. There's no way. There's no way it would have happened. It's anyway. Lex Luthor, you're the dumbest. You're the dumbest version of Lex Luthor I've seen so far. Personally, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, my rant's over. It's a good episode though.
Yeah,
it's about time. It's about time the anime stylings were not annoying, but were a good way to like present the story. And I think presenting the sort of future Trunks, it's a trope. We've seen it many times. And he's just fascinated with the world, and he's just kind of he's zipping left, right, and center, and eating all this stuff that he's never eaten before, and just enjoying having time with his parents that he's never met before, except from when he was a baby. I think that was really nice, and I really like John. Like their mission was to make you like John and care about what's going on with him. Mission accomplished. I really like the character. I want to see more of him. So really cool. Also, Jimmy, get your shit together. Like you so mad. You're trying so hard to like date because Kara is dating a million people. Also, why would they do Kara like that? She was just there in this episode, and they're trying to make her into like she's just like a country bumpkin that doesn't realize that all of that dating profile stuff is not good. And Lois is not helping. Anyway, good episode. Can't wait for next episode because we're gonna see Hank Henshaw go toe to toe with two Kryptonians, and on paper, there's no way he should win. But it's anime logic, and we'll see.
It's 2.5 though.
Yeah, I mean 2.5. Well, I counted as 3. There's no way he should win, but Dragon Ball Z logic is going to prevail, I think. So we'll see. We'll see what they're cooking next week. Speaking of cooking, X-Men 97, to nobody's surprise at all, absolutely cooked this week with episode 4 of the second season. I said Apocalypse Now, and I'm like, Apocalypse Now, then, and into the future, because my God.
And King said...
You have to there should be, I think there should be a warning on this, that if you think that the X-Men should get a W, every now and then, just not when Apocalypse is in. And in fact, it makes me look back at the original X-Men series, and I'm like, how the fuck did y'all stop him? How did y'all ever get a W against him in the first place? Because ain't no way, not with the one we saw here. In this episode, this is the second part of the cliffhanger we saw previously, where Inside Manure is like, hey, y'all been lying to me, Magneto, y'all got to answer for this or it's going down. And then Ramatut's like, all right, I got to stop. I got to nip all this shit in the bud. And he blasts the mountain where they're hiding. In this episode, we find out that everybody died except the mutants. Surprise, because Magneto is on his game, and Inside Manure is. in Sabanur. He's way more badass than we thought. Uh, he doesn't trust Magneto anymore, and now he's like, "All right, Charles Xavier, explain yourself," which leads him to be like, "Well, hey, in the future, you could be a force for good for mutant kind and for humanity, but we got to find this time travel ship and everything. So let's go do that." And all the good intentions, of course, go to shit because you can't save somebody who don't want to be saved. One, two, the fucking hubris of Charles Xavier and Magneto. And I'll give Magneto a slight pass on this because he's bought into Charles's shit. And in the history of X-Men, every time people buy into Charles's shit, does anything good ever happen? Does
Nope.
you know you're well versed in it. Does anything good ever happen when Charles Xavier, when people be like, you know what, I buy into your vision? And so
it's mostly Magneto. He's mostly trying to like recruit Magneto.
He's managed it, and now Magneto's trying to turn Apocalypse into not Apocalypse, and he's trying to get Charles to speechify him into not being Apocalypse. But they are so oblivious. I mean, I think Charles Xavier is so full of himself, and Magneto is so enamored with him and his vision that they can't see what I think was obvious from the first time we saw him in this season, in Sabanur in this season. This motherfucker cannot be turned. Like he keeps showing hints that he is that whole Apocalypse, I'm the shore of eternity and you're gonna break against me and like only the survival of the fittest is not, it's him. It's just him. There's no, he wasn't influenced into it. It's who he is. And they find out the hard way in this episode. And also we find out that the Celestials ain't shit. Like, if you needed any more indication that they ain't shit, here it is. This is in this episode because they enable Apocalypse to be not in Sabanur anymore, but to be Apocalypse. And also, Ramatut shows us his true face as Kang the Conqueror, among many other things. So this is a callback to Marvel Comics continuity, also to Avengers lore, also to like possibly the MCU, and Fantastic Four, all that stuff, and he makes his play, doesn't work, and he's like, bye. And you guys, I'm gonna leave that to you.
The smartest man in the room.
Yeah, he's just like, in fact, he's so smart, he's just like, Charles, I'm so serious, you never fucking win. It doesn't matter. You are never able to do what you think you can do. Like, and he's like, Charles is like, well, I don't believe you. Like, I think I can do it. It's like, again, Charles Xavier's hubris, ultimately fucking everything up. Like it's yeah. But Apocalypse is him and does some brutal ass shit, and it's wild. And it ends with the death of a very important character because Apocalypse does not fuck around. He does not play. Yeah, what an episode. What did you think about this? That was a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of people were talking about like whether it hit this particular character does hit harder than episode 5. No, I don't think it did because like what happened in season 1 episode 5 of X-Men 97 was a sacrifice which was emotional, it was meaningful, it was deep, it was we all felt that, we all were devastated. What happened here is you fucked around and you found out. Like, come on. In the beginning, when you showed up there, when you saw that pale face with blue lips, what gave you an idea of I can change him? That was stupid then. It's stupid now. The fact that they continued on that path, the fact that they tried to do that, even after seeing what kind of person he was and what was gonna happen, there was so much anger in him, and like it's justified. I understand that, But he was so angry that no amount of um talking and like showing him the brighter future would change that. Like you, you that's not how you fix somebody's trauma. You should have like invited a certified therapist or something along with you. But like Charles is not that, and all his speeches, they don't matter and they don't change anything, and he's not good at that. He's not even good at that. And like the fact that he keeps what does he do every time that he can't deal with Magneto? He brings up some wild shit from his past and like throws him back into his trauma. He or like talks him out. It's different. Like their relationship is their relationship.
Yeah.
You don't bring a third person into it and try to like fix him together. That's stop trying to do that. You are not qualified to do that. Yeah, and the absolutely wild exchanges between Charles and Apocalypse, priceless, honestly. Like this is trash talk on the highest level, I'd say. Both very mean, very angry. What I really like, I feel like we are laying foundation for future seasons, and like not just for this season, but for seasons ahead. Because obviously, I feel like yeah, probably Apocalypse is gonna be a problem till the end of the season. If they deal with him sooner, I would be surprised. Genuinely, because we still have Kang to deal with. He's gonna be a problem for sure. Except like he dipped out this time, but
Yeah.
you know. And he also introduced the externals,
Yep.
which is which is also something they're gonna have to deal with. 'Cause the externals are not always the nicest people to be around. Celine is an external, and well, you know what she's like.
Right.
So we have so much lore to go through, and we have so many events teased. Onslaught is again teased, and like it's kind of probably like where it starts, where this arc starts.
Right.
Mm, so yeah, we have a lot of stuff promised, and we have that post credit scene, which is we're not sure what it's introducing exactly, but like again, potential, uh,
Yeah.
ton of potential. Well, except like we know the obvious parts, but still, you know.
Yes. Seeing Cap and
Ugh,
Widow,
so
Black Widow
much, so much.
was a really cool nod to like the wider Marvel universe that X-Men
Yeah,
97 is a part of. Also, I think that's probably how they're going to get Wolverine his adamantium back, more than likely, because they're
absolutely.
talking about Weapon X. Um, I said it before, the Celestials ain't shit. They literally like Apocalypse is that like you get the impression that in a sense that they were waiting for someone like Apocalypse to come so that they could have kind of like a culling weapon of like a because Apocalypse his whole thing is evolve or die, right? Like show yourself to be worthy of life, but he's a cheat code. His entire fucking existence is a cheat code, and so and he was he's inevitable, I guess you could say, but he would have just been a really huge pain in the ass. But with celestial technology, now he's like the worst. Again, I wonder how they win against him in the past because the way he as Inside Manure
I
fucking
don't
so
honestly
just fucking
remember.
he fucking soloed. And I'm not saying this was the strongest team, but he slapped Rogue around like she wasn't anything. And Rogue has
Well,
Captain Marvel
she was
powers.
barely trying though. She
I'm
was barely trying, to be fair.
she
She
she's
didn't take his like siphon his
That's
abilities or
true.
memories.
It's weird that she didn't try to do that. I think sometimes Rogue is so used to having Captain Marvel powers and being able to punch the shit out of anything that she forgets she has another power. It's only when she's getting choked out she's just like, "Oh yeah, I can steal powers too. Let me put this on you." It's weird. He didn't give her no time. Slapped the shit out of her. Bishop. just
Yeah, he punched
bot.
Bishop around, and Bishop was not happy about that.
Bishop was
He was
useless.
from the beginning. Bishop was like, "Let's get the hell
Yeah,
out of here,"
fuck this
and
guy.
nobody listened to him. Why the
Yeah,
hell did nobody listen to him?
they never
Like,
listened.
y'all thought you know better.
It's just like in the horror movies, the black guy's like, "Nope, let's get the fuck out of here," and everybody's like,
Mhm.
"You're
And everybody
you're
else thinks they
overreacting.
know better.
You're
And then they
overreacting."
go and they die.
So
Well, they had it coming, honestly.
Bishop gets like bodied real fast. So even with his strongest attack, Nightcrawler's useless. Even though they're like, what did Professor X say? Keep him away from that thing. Nightcrawler, you couldn't have done. You could teleport literally anywhere. You teleport him 20 feet away. You know what? You ain't even trying.
He's not literally anywhere. He's not. He has limits. He's not as
He's not
powerful a teleporter as like magic.
He's
or
not line of sight though. He can teleport to places he's been before.
yeah,
He could
not around the world, like not anywhere. He has limits.
He could have teleported
take
them
too far, but he could have tried. He could have teleported him.
Yeah, he
at
could have
least like
teleported back to where
in the
they
next
were.
Dune or something.
Yeah, they could have gone back to where they were before. Like, all right, so Nightcrawler failing to be good at his job, Bishop failing to be good at his job, Rogue failing to be good at her job. I guess it's down to Charles and Magneto. Magneto can't do a fuck thing against him either. And Charles, all he got is his words because his telepathy is trash. Like there's just like he bodies every single one of them, and I'm like, well, shit, y'all. There's no way they were ever gonna win this fight.
They did send the B team and the other half of the team who could actually do something against him. They didn't show up, and good for them for not doing that. Like, I wouldn't go either.
Yeah.
If I knew that there was Apocalypse in the past and I had a chance to fight him, I would have stayed at home.
They had him before he was superpowered. Then he gets
he still wiped the floor with them.
Yeah, he beat their ass, and
that's how he got his superpower.
He did his Sailor Moon transformation, and shout out to Apocalypse for keeping the brand recognition on point. The A is super important. No English didn't exist. Latin letters didn't exist at the time, but he had to make sure he had that A.
He made them up.
Look, this was all good. Like I think I will be in the minority. I did not like this as much as I liked the first episode of this season, but it was a good follow up to the previous episode and really kind of tied a bow on it and gave us a reason why, oh shit, we need to get back to the 90s because obviously we're not going to beat him here. Also, Magneto's death was dope. Not the fact that he got, I'm going to say his death was terrible. I thought he was going to get his head crushed.
He'll be back. Come on.
Yeah, obviously he'll be back. But what I'm saying is,
when is he ever going to die?
But I thought he was. Oh, he showed. Oh, I'm an Omega level mutant with the way he contained that black hole that was going to destroy Ramatut City, and like really used it to sort of. It didn't destroy the ship, but it really did kind of like, at the very least, put it out of commission so that Apocalypse couldn't use it effectively. A very nice bit of use of his power, again, showing he's an Omega level mutant. So overall, I think writing wise, there was great lines between different characters. Set pieces were on point. Moves the story forward. Really kind of shows the Apocalypse like that. I think it really kind of leveled up his threat level to where I think it is now in the comics. Like, people really understand what he is and how fucking hard it is to actually get a W against him. But they really up that threat level to the point where they're going to be tooth and nail fighting him to the end, and they're still probably not going to win. They're just going to delay him. So just all around, I think a good episode, and I'm excited for us this season. And that little teaser about Weapon X, great. Good job. X-Men 97 continuing to be peak. That's what I'm trying to say. And
But yeah.
I think you agree with me. So, uh, you know, you guys, I don't know, did y'all agree or not? Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments. But with that being said, that's all of our news and our reviews for this episode. You know, we didn't have a ton of news to talk about, but that more than made up for it with our two shows this week. We're really excited about Superhero Summer over here. But you know what? Maybe we missed something. Maybe you want to agree with us, disagree with us, troll, give us some praise, whatever the case may be. You know what to do. Get down there to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And while you're doing that, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps to grow this channel, helps more people to see this podcast, and all of the other things that we do on Blurred Force 1. And of course, couldn't do this by myself. I needed the X-Men knowledge and the Marvel Rivals knowledge, because you know I do not play that game. But where can they reach you on social media, Polly?
I'm usually ranting on Threads, go_mixed, and the same on Instagram, which I recently started posting again a little bit like short reviews about the comics that I read. The last one has been Christopher Priest's Black Panther, by the way.
Nice.
And on Tumblr, and I'm gonna be back there soon.
Nice. Yeah, you guys go check that out. Especially check out when she is letting people know about, like, people are like, you must not know the comics, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys, y'all have no fucking idea. Have you ever read a comic? I love when people comment that to you, and I'm like, y'all just like, y'all don't even know, you're opening up a can of worms. You don't know who you're talking to.
You know, funny thing is, I never tried to prove to them that I do read comics, because, like, the stupidest thing, in my opinion, is when somebody is trying to throw these accusations around and you try to defend yourself. Hell no, I just attack back.
Yeah, best offense, defense is a good offense, as they say. But yeah, you guys, you know, keep an eye on that. And also, shout out to, I mentioned you reached 1,000 followers on Threads. I've reached 1,000 followers on Threads recently too.
Oh,
just over. I think probably actually I got it last week and I just forgot about it. So I haven't scared enough people off yet with all of my my talk. All of my gardening talk. I'm sure people really care about that. But thanks for everybody that follows me and Polly on Threads. It's a good time.
those are the best people.
Exactly, and also keep an eye out for our mutuals as they talk about. We're all talking about X-Men '97 right now. If you have a chance, check out. I think I want to. Is it Black Girl Nerds or is it Joe at Muscles and Multiverse that's hosting?
Black Girl Nerds and Muscle and the Multiverse.
They're hosting the live threadings on Wednesday nights. I can't join those because I work on Wednesday nights, but if y'all have time, definitely go check that out. Be part of the community.
Live chats, they are amazing, and you will meet the best people there.
Exactly. Nerd out, learn some things. Everyone doesn't know everything about these things. There's a lot of deep lore, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of stuff like that. People like Polly who are really knowledgeable, they can share it with you so you can get a deeper understanding of what it is you're watching and to appreciate the art that's on display, because the people that are making X-Men '97 they really are putting their foot in it, as they say. They really are like creating something that's for the new fans and the old fans, and you'll get a deeper understanding if you follow some of the people that are going to be in that chat. So you guys check that out. All that being said, thanks for joining us. It's been episode 236 of the Supercast. We'll be back next week to talk about both My Adventure with Superman and X-Men '97, and we are preparing. We really are. We're getting ready for a brand new day. We're getting really excited for that. So we'll check all that out next week. So until then, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by my good friend Polly, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.